Hey everybody, looks like we've got a really nice sunset warming up here. Thank you for stopping by. This is Mukilteo, Washington, in Washington State of the Pacific Northwest here in the US. Streaming from HAPS onto YouTube and Facebook and elsewhere. Hope you're having a good day or evening wherever you might be. It's been really neat to see this really thin layer of clouds push from left to right, south to north, across the sky, stretched ever so thinly. And we've even seen what look like little rainbows in the clouds at times, or I think the term might be sundog or something similar to a sundog. Hey, Doreen, nice to see you. Welcome. There's a ferry on the way in from Whidbey Island out there in the distance. Mount Baker's looking beautiful too. I'll show you a shot of Mount Baker in just a moment here. Sorry for the abrupt zooms. That's just the way it's not a very user-friendly zoom on the HAPS app in my opinion. But I'll tilt up and you can see when we look at the sky, you'll kind of look at above the sun, it remains kind of thick, milky and white, and even to the left above the sun, a little bit of striations. And as you look over here to the right, you see how there's just not as much white or cloud. But it is kind of feathered out there, right? Well, that's what kind of moved up here. There's more of it. It's just thin right over here. And then just over here, you can see there's like a little spoon sticking out of cloud. That's the leading edge of what's been going on here the last few hours as it moves in from the southwest. I was talking about a spoon. Someone's saying, "What is he talking about?" Well, I'm just trying to think about what it might look like. It stands out abruptly from the rest of the leading edge of that cloud cover. Here you see it. There's a boat going through that lovely scene. We're going to have a dynamite sunset. I'm going to come right back to it. But what I want to show you really quickly here before it gets down to the sun touching the island there, if you will, is I want to show you Mount Baker. I referred to it a moment ago. And we're really in the golden hour now. Tide is definitely up just beneath the railroad tracks there. So there's the ferry coming in. And in between the ferry and the land there on the right, we have some some foliage, and there's a gap between the house and that foliage where we can sneak in and see Mount Baker. There we go, my friends. Look at that. How about that? Let's zoom. Well, I'll just leave it there for a moment. That's really nice light, really nice clear picture. Some really nice highlights on the south and western face of that. I always refer to it as a scoop of ice cream, Mount Baker. Hey, by the way, we'll come right back to that, but just off to our left, ferry leaving Mukilteo, going off to our left, and the one arriving, disappearing to our right. But it's going to come right in front of Mount Baker here in just a moment, so maybe you want to grab a screenshot. Feel free to do so. And feel free to tweet it or send it to me at Beyond 90 Seconds on Twitter. That would be great. As soon as the Mukilteo ferry comes into view here with Mount Baker in the background there, I will swing it back to the sunset because the sun's just about to meet the top of Whidbey Island. Hey, Mossback, thank you very much. We should start seeing the ferry here in just. There you go. And I think we can zoom even further in. Let's, whoops, sorry about that, my friends. That's Gimbal 101. There we go. How about that? All right, let's get back to that sunset. That's nice. From me to you. I was torn whether to come here to do a little bit of live streaming or to go to a place called Dutch Hill in Snohomish with what should be a decent view of Mount Rainier tonight. And I was really tempted to do the Mount Rainier thing because with a newer phone now I can get a clear shot with this phone as opposed to my old one. Color temperature is definitely changing out here right now. This Thursday night, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'll be streaming directly to YouTube, so basically a YouTube exclusive, if you will. And I'll be talking about live streaming and some of the projects I've been working on. And you're more than welcome to join and bring up questions about tech, live streaming, photography. Should be at least 30 minutes of conversation and so on. And you're more than welcome to join. So my YouTube channel is at Beyond 90 Seconds. You can go to youtube.com/Beyond 90 Seconds, Beyond 90 Seconds, plural. If you want to find me that way. Hey, Nelly, how you doing? Thank you very much. Nice to hear from you after all these years. Well, I guess we've connected on Facebook, but not so many years ago. But a lot of memories from back in the day, and you know this area very well. I'm going to widen it out, but first we're going to go tighter. See what that might look like. You know, the ferry that left here a few minutes ago for Whidbey Island is now approaching Whidbey Island. It's off to our left, excuse me, off to our right, and it won't show up on camera, but I can still see a hint, and I mean a hint, of what looked like a sundog, which is like kind of like a rainbow in the clouds. Hey, Cosmic Rose. Let me swing over to the ferry. We'll come back to the sun in just a moment. I know I said I was going to go wide on that. Let's see if if it picks up on camera at all, because it's just above the top of the island. Now we're panning right, going to our north. You made it. Was in a 5-hour stream, Cosmic Rose. Wow. Okay, so there's the ferry. And okay, you see that kind of streak, that almost horizontal streak? Here, I'll try and get my finger in the shot. Where am I? Okay, I'm going to keep my finger out of it. But basically, that ferry is now moving. It's bending to the right. And right in front of it, just above the island, there's that white sliver of nearly horizontal, brighter light. Well, right in there, going vertically, it doesn't really show up even to the eye so well anymore, but there was a bit of a sundog there, almost like a part of an arch of the beginning of a rainbow. Anyway, I saw that all the way out here driving from Snohomish. You love yourself some sundogs, all right. All right, Cosmic Rose. Let me zoom out and just show you a wider view of what's in front of us. I have to be careful because I'm on a bluff, and I've got the phone on a gimbal, and its little tripod is on this fence post here at Pioneer Cemetery. You can see it. Awesome. And I just don't want this gimbal to be knocked over, so I'm being very careful. Otherwise, it could tumble down the bluff toward the railroad tracks. So isn't that a nice picture? Now, off to the right, you can see that blue sky. So everything basically in front of you was blue sky when I started driving out here. But to the left, coming up from the south, was this like very thin sheet of white clouds. I was thinking it's kind of like taking a knife and spreading a very thin layer of icing, cake icing, upon the sky with interesting patterns. And that's what came up from the left to the right, the south to the north. And to the north, you can still see a lot of blue up there because what's above us has been like a blanket, just kind of going left to right, right across the sky. Hey, Peter Bittner, nice to have you here from Colorado. I was listening to you or watching you on a live stream from Colorado on one of the daily updates on HAPS. Thank you very much for the donation. I really appreciate the award, Peter. We've got a beautiful sunset here. We've been talking about the weather, as Tears for Fears used to say back in the day. You had me with that cloud crop, Cosmic Rose. Yeah, that was not a telephoto lens or anything. That was strictly using 4K on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. And I just cropped it the other day and got some beautiful video of some storm clouds. And let me just center this up. And some aircraft, some planes, some jets en route to SeaTac. Seattle Tacoma International Airport. Let's get this a little bit centered up better. There we go. Oh, my pleasure, Peter, as always. Peter is one of the guys behind HAPS. I shouldn't say behind because he's very much out front with others on HAPS. A lot of us former periscopers have turned to HAPS, and the community goes on. And the people with HAPS have been really good about sharing and listening, sharing what's going on, what they're working on, listening to requests for features. And it's been pretty cool to see how they put their faces out front on regular updates and listen. So I really hope HAPS does well. Sunset's right around 8:30. What time is it now? It looks like we're about 8:19, 8:20. Now we just need some California sea lions. As I've mentioned in many a broadcast from this vantage point overlooking the bluff here and the waters of Puget Sound, these California sea lions will be patrolling just 20 to 40 yards, oftentimes just offshore here, left to right, right to left, chasing fish. That's a good way of putting it, Cosmic Rose. Thanks for helping everyone. And truth be told, when I first got out here, I didn't start live streaming right away. I had to get some good video. I shot some 4K with Filmic Pro 10-bit Vlog 3. By the way, I'm hearing the rumble of a train. A pot of orcas now. Hey, Doreen, that's my dream. That is my dream. Let's show you the train. It's going to come from our left, right immediately below us. That's the Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad. And those BNSF trains tend to be very long. Got a little boat coming from the left. It'll make a really nice screenshot. If you'd like to get a screenshot, we'll zoom in and get it with the sunset. I hear you, Cosmic Rose. As that sun sets and the train rumbles below, the color temperature keeps changing as it does at sunset, especially with thicker clouds down below. We're going to zoom this out a little bit because it's really interesting just above the sun. How's that? And there goes the train. Off to our right, the north. Well, that would be my kind of a boat ride from that vantage point. Outside of the fact that I get seasick, as I often do if I A, go on a boat, or B, sit in the back seat of a car on a long road trip. I'm a Dramamine kid. I'm guessing you can hear the water below. That gives you a really good sense of that leading edge that I was talking about of the clouds moving left to right, filling in the blue sky as they progressed. You can still see a gap of blue up there. There are people down at the beach. We'll zoom in on some of that. It's getting to be low light, but the boat's heading toward the boat dock at sunset, as the boats do. The boat ramp, I should say. And as we get close to wrapping things up, I mentioned the water down below. Give you a better perspective of that. Oops, almost lost the gimbal there. Saved it precariously on this fence post. Oh, I just heard some sea lions. Boy, they've been vocal every time I've been here the last 3 or 4 times in the recent weeks. Off to our right, maybe about 100 yards away or so, give or take. All right, let's do a little bit of a walk and then we'll come back here and wrap it up. I don't think I'm going to go too late. I've been known to go late, into the dark, and show the fairies in the dark. But I have to say, I'm a little bit more sensitive to it now because yesterday I had 5 days to download all of my Periscope broadcasts or lose them, the recordings. And any idea how many Periscope broadcasts? And I know there are people who are more avid live streamers on Periscope than me, but I did start back in the first month of March 2015. But any idea how many Periscope broadcasts I had to download that I did over the years? One at a time. Couldn't download them all at once as a single zip file. It was zip file after zip file, each zip file being one broadcast. What do you think? Maybe 100? The reason I bring it up is because I know that my live streams can go long, and when I had to download them, it was common to have files that were less than 100 megabytes. There were many that were hundreds, and there were some that were 2 gigs or more, a single broadcast. 4,000? No, Doreen. Oh, I would not have been able to do that over the course of 5 days. Um, it was over 600. It was over 600, but I guess my reputation precedes me. Here, how many times a week? I would go stretches with none, week after week with none, and I'd come back in bursts and do several. Um, and especially like earlier this year, it's been a very busy year. And so getting out and live streaming. I had other priorities, so I didn't get to do much of it. So that there would just be these blank weeks, and sometimes even maybe a month or a month and a half on the calendar with nothing, and then a whole bunch. Still pretty awesome. Thanks, Doreen. Only, yeah, only. Hey, Mossback, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing that. I'm handheld here with the gimbal, but that's not bad. You can definitely see the Olympic Mountains. Did you hear that sea lion just now? It's going to be interesting, an interesting crop. Okay, let's walk through the old Pioneer Cemetery a little bit more. It's beautiful up here. We'll make it an interesting walk. You heard the sea lion. Good. Another friend scoped nightly for 2 hours each. He talked and played piano. Oh, okay. Let's flip it around because I think it's more interesting than looking at me. A lot of the early settlers, the early white settlers of Mukilteo. Of course, there were Native Americans here for countless generations prior to the arrival of the white person. But a lot of families here, a lot of children. This cluster over here, the Fowlers. And what's also not uncommon is to see children who passed as young as 6 months old, which was probably linked to disease or something at the time. We're going back to the 1800s. Whoops. Gimbal doesn't want to play nice. All right, this bigger iPhone does not always play nice with the. Oh, you know what? I think I lost power. That's what it was for some reason. Bear with me as I try and get the gimbal to play nice. I hear you, Cosmic Rose. All right. I just saw a squirrel go around the corner, around the back of the tree. Literally an ADD moment. Squirrel. Hmm. Jesse died on Valentine's Day, 1889, aged 6 months. Another train coming. Oh, I see a sea lion. My Guys, I'm gonna try one more thing with my gimbal. The shot's gonna go crazy and wonky. My phone's basically gonna flop around for a moment, see if I can solve this. Hang on. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Oh, we had a little excitement there. I did see a sea lion. It was just out here, and it was going from our right to our left, and it came up and went back under and disappeared, doing its patrolling, chasing fish left to right, right to left. What we'll do tonight is we'll finish with that ferry on the right, a much closer view in about 3 or 4 minutes. Actually, probably a couple of minutes, just two. And we'll put Mount Baker in the background. Thank you, Cosmic Rose. I really appreciate you and that comment. Thank you. All right, let's get that mountain framed up so when that ferry goes by it, we're all poised to get that shot. All right, thank you, Doreen. Wonderful. Have a wonderful evening. Appreciate you jumping on so quickly and hanging in there so long. I know I'd go on. It's getting there. Oh, it's dark in Wisconsin. Oh, okay. Whereabouts in Wisconsin are you, Nick? I spent a little bit of time living in De Pere, Wisconsin, just outside of Green Bay. Oh, you're in Green Bay. Wonderful. Well, way back when, I used to work at WBAY TV. And my friend Jeff Alexander, who worked with me way back in the day, still at WBAY. I bring him up because Jeff grew up on that island right there. That's Whidbey Island, and Jeff went to school and grew up in Coupville, Coupville, on Whidbey Island out there. And Jeff, I think, is still one of the primary anchors, if not the primary, that maybe a early evening or weekend anchor at WBAY. Oh, okay, very good. Have you always been Nicktopia? I was trying to show a rabbit just now. So what happens at this hour? Several things happen. One of them is the rabbits come out. Oh, Stardust 69. There we go. So you've heard all my Wisconsin stories. I still get I still get excited to share about those days. They were wonderful days in Wisconsin. Short time there. Well, there goes the gimbal again, guys. I think it's because I'm losing power because it's about out of juice. I need to charge this gimbal up. That's what the issue is. Well, we'll kind of go handheld just in case we see a rabbit. No, I see one out there. It's by the gate. Tell you what I'll do. I'm going to take it's a magnet, so I'm going to remove the foam from the gimbal. Hang on. Thank you, Triple Tall. I appreciate the award. So we're going gimbal-less now. We're living on the edge. I know we often do our end of our broadcast day, but I always end up walking by rabbits after that, and I thought, well, why don't I try and show you what I mean? There are rabbits all over this place, usually, and throughout the neighborhood. I put my gimbal down. Coffee sounds good. I already stopped at Starbucks, Triple Tall. There's one in the low light. try and line this up. Hey, Nibs. Rabbit, rabbit emoji. Well played, Triple Tall. And you're welcome. Hi there. What do you make of me over here? It must be good food because you're not scampering. You gonna go beyond the fence and try and cross the road? Uh-oh. Well, there you go. Somehow I'm blocking the lens. There we go. So here we are, laid out on the grass at a cemetery. Never too old to get down and to get the shot. You know what I mean? Hey, thank you so much for joining me for Sunset from Mukilteo, Washington. I hope you guys enjoyed it and hope to see you again soon. Take care, everybody.